Hello everyone and welcome to my Dreamcast collection. Now I bought my Dreamcast in 2008, so I certainly missed the Dreamcast era, shall we say. 299 it came out in the US, 9999. Was Sega's last ever video game console, which is kind of sad really. I do like Sega. I loved what they did. I mean, they were crazy. That was the thing about Sega. They weren't afraid to try anything. You had the mighty Mega CD. You had the ridiculous 32X. Of course, the Sega Master System, the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, if you lived in Europe. You had the Sega Saturn, which I love as a system. I mean, it was crazy. It had like 3 processors in it or something like that, and no one could ever program it. But only Sega could have come up with that. And I do believe that Sega leaving the hardware market, it has been a loss. I mean, you can blame Microsoft and Sony for the bland, corporate, cold nature of the video games industry these days. Sega were fun. Nintendo used to be fun as well. But, you know, Sega were... I love their advertising. I love the just blatant lies that they told in their advertising, or the Genesis does what Nintendo don't. That was hilarious. And they had that thing for the PlayStation where they called it Plaything, where they said the 3 processors in the Saturn were way more powerful than the PlayStation. That was true. However, the Saturn was a nightmare to program for. And thus the Dreamcast was their last throw at the dice. Although it failed, I think one of the best consoles ever made, to be honest with you. So let's get to, that's a little Dreamcast intro over, and we'll have a look at the games. First up we have Virtua Tennis, which is, I would say, still one of my favorite tennis games ever made. Maybe GTA 5 is probably the best tennis game ever made, sadly. I won't say sadly, I say unfortunately GTA 5, because it does have a decent tennis game in it, Grand Theft Auto 5. This is a European disc, European case, we should say. European cases were interesting because you had like this is the disc on this side, and then you had another side which could, you had opened it from the back, which housed the instruction manual, also space for another disc, which was quite cool. I mean, 2 disc games are obviously decent, but let's say you went around to a friend's house and you wanted to take 2 games, you only had to take 1 case. That was innovation from Sega there. There you go. Opened, obviously the disc could open out like this on both sides, which was kind of cool. And they had a funky blue interior. That was kind of cool. So you had space for 1 disc, and you could open them either side. It also meant if one side, if one of the discs, if this part in the middle, I have a few games where this part gets damaged, you could just switch it over to the other side. Innovation from Sega. Obviously, the other big innovation for the Dreamcast was online multiplayer. It was the first console that enabled online multiplayer as well. It also used Windows CE as well. I guess that's what inspired Microsoft to get into the video games industry, because they obviously... Okay, so we're back. The camera crashed, or OBS crashed. I don't know, but something crashed. And we're back. So we're talking about Microsoft and how it kind of inspired them to get into the gaming industry, I guess, because they did use Windows CE. Some of the games even ran on Windows CE. I believe Resident Evil 2 and 3 ran on Windows CE. But we'll continue look through our GameCube collection. We have Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, which was developed by Crystal Dynamics. I don't know if you can see that. We've got a lot of light coming in here. Again, this was a PlayStation 1 port. A lot of games did, a lot of PS1 games. There's the disc for it right there. I don't know if you can see that there. It is only 1 disc. So I like the fact, again, you had the disc in this side. And I just put the instruction manual in that side as well. So you could have that as well. Again, another European Dreamcast game. We got WWF Attitude, which is just a PlayStation port. Never a very good game. I never liked the button combos for that. Same with ECW Hardcore. What was it? Hardcore Revolution. I thought I was going to call it Hardcore Evolution. Once again, it's just, you know, same old. These were never great, the wrestling games. They did have WWF Royal Rumble, there's the disc for it, which was the exclusive Dreamcast game. The manual is in there as well. There you go. I never liked that. It had like button combos for the finishers, which was kind of weird, I thought. Speaking of sort of sports combat fighting games, we have Ready to Rumble Boxing, which was pretty cool and did feature Michael Buffer as well as voice. The guy that says, "Let's get ready to rumble!" That guy. That guy, as the game was called, Ready to Rumble as well. So you got him in the game. It featured, I think it's purely fictitious, fictional boxers. Again, we've got both. We got the box as well in there. When was this released? What was it? Doesn't actually say when it was released. What was it? 1999 is the copyright on it. So an early Dreamcast game. It was pretty fun. It was kind of a sort of caricature, cartoony boxing type game. It had good graphics for the time. That was the big thing about the Dreamcast, is the graphics were really nice for the time. And we'll take a look at one of the flagship, still sealed, Jet Set Radio. I have a sealed copy. I haven't opened it because I own the Xbox Live Arcade version, and I own it on Steam. Remember getting this on Steam as well, so I'm not going to open it. I'm going to keep it. Keeps its value. Generally, I say games are for playing and for collecting, but I like to play games. But I can play this on Xbox Live Arcade. I can play it on Steam, so I'm not going to open it. You know, I don't think it's hugely valuable, again, because it's been released on a lot of other platforms, but it was a good kind of skateboarding. You were a graffiti artist and you had to kind of compete with other graffiti artists. You had to run away from you got chased by the police. It was a kind of cool little game. It had cel-shaded graphics as well. Again, for the time, the Dreamcast was amazing visually. When you were just used to PS1 games, the upgrade to the Dreamcast was a huge leap forward for graphics in games. We also have Rayman 2, The Great Escape, which cost me £5, $4.99. I bought it from GameStation. I bought a lot of retro games from GameStation back in the day for a £5. It's not so bad, actually. It was a platform game. Again, I think this was just a PS1 port. The cover's is broken, as you can see. It's not in the best of conditions. We've got the disc here. We should put out the discs for the Dreamcast, where they were known as gigadiscs or GD-ROMs. Gigadisc, GD stood for. They were different from CDs. They held more data than a CD. We've got the manual in here, which is missing this front cover, which is always good. Again, we bought the second hand. It was only a £5. Not a greatly collectible game. I think it was another PS1 port, but I guess, I mean, PS1 ports tended to run fairly well. The spine of it is kind of missing now. I'll push the spine of it back into position. It doesn't quite fit in, but you know, it works out well. Of course, we've got Sonic Adventure. We've got both Sonic Adventure games. We'll talk about Sonic Adventure 1, which was the game that launched with the Dreamcast again. The first sort of official 3D Sonic game. Actually, there was nothing on the Saturn. It was alright, I thought. I thought Sonic Adventure was alright. There's the disc inside, and what else have we got? Of course, the manual, and of course you can put a second disc in as well. We'll look at some 2-disc games and some multi-disc games with the other things in it. But yeah, this was a pretty cool little launch title for the Dreamcast. Showed the technical capabilities of the Dreamcast more than anything. I was impressed with this game. And there's the sequel, of course, Sonic Adventure 2. It was released on the GameCube. I think Sonic Adventure 2 and which was weird at the time. I mean, someone who grew up in the 90s, seeing a Sonic game on a Nintendo console. I do have Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube. It was called Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. The disc. Again, you can see here, you see these bits are slightly broken. So what you could do is, rather than have the disc rattling around in there, just put the disc in the other side. That's a cool thing about that. That was a very, very nicely designed. I like that. I like good design like that. Speaking of awesome launch titles for the Dreamcast, of course, no Dreamcast collection is complete without Soul Calibur. It is a must-own for the system. Sonic Adventure probably is another must-own as well. Soul Calibur, a 3D fighting game. Now, this port was excellent. Okay, it was what was known as Arcade Perfect, they called it. It was a perfect recreation of the arcade version. Meant nothing in the West, really, but you know, it meant something. Japan, the arcades were still big, but in the US and in Europe, the arcades were kind of finished by the sort of late 90s. Most people owned home consoles by then. But yeah, Soul Calibur, amazing. You can get this on Xbox Live Arcade. You can get it on Xbox One as well. It's still an amazing, really good fighting game, and one of my favorite fighting games of all time. I know a lot of people really love Street Fighter. I prefer this, personally. I prefer Soul Calibur, to be honest with you. We'll move along to Resident Evil Code Veronica. This was the game I wanted a Dreamcast for. I was going to buy a Dreamcast at the end of, sort of 2000, but then this got announced for PlayStation 2, so I just waited until, I think it was October of 2001. That was my birthday. I bought a PS2 and Code Veronica X, which was the more enhanced version. A wise decision at the time, but I still regret not owning a Dreamcast. This had 2 discs. Doesn't say on the back whether it has 2 discs. One of these discs is kind of broken inside, so I want to open it gently. You got Claire and Chris Redfield, so you can see this one, the disc kind of falls out if I don't hold it in place. That was disc 1, and the other side was fine. We've got disc 2, and what the hell? What's a Scion Revus? It's from IDOS Interactive. It's a competition entry. It's a PDA. It's a late 90s PDA. You could send in the entry. There's the IDOS, and IDOS Interactive, of course, doesn't exist anymore. Does that? No, yeah, they're Square Enix now, aren't they? IDOS Interactive. What have we got? You could be one of 10 winners of the new review from Scion. This switched on organizer means you can email on the move. Email on the move. My God. Make appointments, stay in touch with friends. You can also surf the web, write a letter, or just play a game. And when you get it home, it will sync straight to your PC. Why the hell isn't this still around then? We still got iPods and iPads and things. And iPhones. What the hell is this? For your chance to win, simply answer the qualifying question on this warranty card and post it back. As simple as that. First 10 correct answers will... for the winners will be announced in the first 10 correct answers after the closing date. It did close on the 31st of October 2000 though. Shame. I really want one. What was the question? The question, if you won a Scion Revo, what would you have to carry it in? And the options are A, a suitcase. Although it is a late 90s PDA, so that may be a viable answer. B, a pocket. Or C, a transit van. I'm hiring... I mean, if it was an 80s mobile device, the answer was C. It would be a transit van. But yeah, there you go. You could answer the correct question. What games did it... Game purchase, Resident Evil Code Veronica, which we have. Nomad Soul. Sydney 2000 Olympics, Tomb Raider, The Last Rebel. I take it this was yeah, it was published by IDOS Interactive. Oh, interesting, there you go. Square Enix was the publisher, effectively. Square Enix publishing a Capcom game. Who'd have thought it? Well, I mean, IDOS Interactive would become Square Enix, so eventually. What else have we got? Sydney 2000 Olympic Games, Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation, Berserk, Guts Rage, Walt Disney World Quest Racing. Never heard of it. I might go and try that, actually. I might see if I can find that somewhere. Why did you buy this product? Because it's Resident Evil. That's why I bought it. Resident Evil. What other game systems do we own? Do we own a PC, a PlayStation, or a Game Boy Color? I guess it went with the Dreamcast promotion, so... You would obviously have a Dreamcast. I mean, why would you buy a Dreamcast game just to maybe win one of them? I want one of them now. I really want one of them. I'm gonna try and find one and review it maybe and do it and unbox it or something like that. DC UK Dreamcast Monthly magazine. Which where did you buy this from? Look how many game stores there were in the UK. I mean, most of them have all gone. Now we'll try and just pan that across. Let's see what's gone. Comet, gone. EB, Electronic Boutique, gone. Virgin, gone. Virgin Megastores, they have gone. No one mail order. Curry's still exist. Dixon's and Curry's have merged. They're both Dixon's retail group. So they're merged. Game, sadly, still exists. HMV still exists. PC World still exists. WH Smith still exists. Toys R Us still exists. Woolworths, gone. So, I mean, there's what our price as well. Our price is gone as well, whatever that was. So Comet's gone, EB's gone. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 14 retail stores have gone now. Kind of sad, really, to see that. But there you go. That was Code Veronica X. I'll put the booklet in back in there so it doesn't, the disc doesn't fall. I think the disc has just fell out. Ugh. Keep the disc in tight. Set it down gently. Gently does it. It's not very valuable, Code Veronica, unfortunately. Code Veronica X came out on the PS2, which was a enhanced edition. PS2, GameCube, and is available PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One right now. Code Veronica X. We'll look at an American game, which is Skies of Arcadia. This was the American cover, and this is a European cover. I thought the European ones were way better. Look at the thickness, the difference in thickness. That's a European. That's the American one. European one. Right, European, US. The European ones just looked way better. Also, the little swirl logo was blue instead of orange on the Dreamcast. So if you had a multi-disc game, we bought this from somewhere in Game Dude, the guy was called. It was in North Hollywood in Cal. Don't know if it still exists. Don't know. But Skies of Arcadia was an interesting RPG. The European one is quite difficult to find. Interestingly, the manual is the cover as well. The cover art and the manual are the exact same. Interesting. That's a good way to save money in the US. Again, the Dreamcast logo was an orange swirly thing, whereas the European one was a blue one. You can see here the two discs you've got in here. There's disc 1 for some reason and disc 2 on this side. Now, to play US games, you did need a boot disc, which I have here. Burned CD burned. The Utopia boot disc was famous for loading pirate games. Now, we're gonna say here, piracy is wrong and bad. Okay, there you go. Statement on piracy. You also could use Action Replay as well, which you could buy, but I just burned it. One of the sort of advantages or disadvantages of the Dreamcast was, yes, it could read CDRs. These gigadiscs could be burned to CD-ROM. A lot of them could be converted easily to CD-ROM. And piracy was rife on the Dreamcast. That's one of the reasons why maybe it didn't succeed. I think the biggest reason was it didn't have DVD. We also have Quake 3 Arena for the Dreamcast. Bought this to check it out as a port, really. Again, another online multiplayer. You had SegaNet. Again, it's a US game. You've got 53 hours online if you signed up for SegaNet. There it is, right there. It has the broadband adapter. It could also be used. You could also use a keyboard. I think you could use a mouse with it as well. So it's got the modem. Yeah, keyboard and mouse. Play it properly. Keyboard and mouse. Dreamcast Master Race. There you go. Another great classic Dreamcast game. Crazy Taxi. Another must-own. Again, these are not very valuable these days. Crazy Taxi. I think everybody had this for the Dreamcast. Pack-in title mostly with a lot of them. It was kind of fun. You drove around. You wrecked things. You picked up passengers and dropped them off at their destination. It has been ported everywhere since. It's on GameCube, it's on PS2, it was on Xbox Live Arcade. I think it's on Steam as well. It's on PS3, I think. PS3, I don't know if it's on PS4, mind you, but you can get this. I think you can get it on Xbox One as well. I know it was on Xbox Live Arcade, so it probably will at least eventually come to Xbox One if it's not already available. I don't know. But it was a fun little arcade driving game. You pick people up, drop them off. You get bonus points for running things over. Quite fun, actually. A fun little game. I would say must own for any Dreamcast collection. Alright, we'll get to our most treasured Dreamcast possessions right now. We'll take a look at Shenmue. Oh yeah, not in the best of conditions, but this is one of the flagship Dreamcast titles. I don't know which one is the disc. The 4 discs, that's why there's disc 1, there you go. This one isn't in the best of shape, as you can see. Did buy this second hand. It was fairly cheap at the time. There you go, disc 1 on one side, and disc 2's fallen out of it. And there you go, there's disc 2 of Shenmue. Oh, be careful, don't break it. Don't break it. This barely fits in the thing. There you go, we've got the manual for it as well. Has online functions as well. Very, very sort of sought after. This is one of the most. These are one of the most sought after, and again, a must own. Shenmue was one of the classic Dreamcast games. Amazing sort of open world adventure. This one doesn't even have anything on it. See, this is poor. It only cost me about 20 quid for this, and to be fair, it's still worth. We got disc 3 right there, and do we have disc 4? Oh no, we got the Shenmue Passport, which was, I think it was just like a bonus disc that you got with it. I don't actually remember what it was, to be honest. But yeah, my copy of Shenmue. It's not in the best of conditions, but honestly, all you can do is just either swap it over, like take something like Ready to Rumble or something, and just swap the box over. Would be nice. Take sort of like WWF Attitude or something not valuable. Swap the box over. As long as the discs work, then if you were going to ever sell it, I would just swap the cases. Because a case is a case, really. You could just buy these. I think you can buy these cases anyway. Just buy some cases that are in good condition and swap them around. And last, but certainly not least, we have the sequel, Shenmue 2, not released in the US, only released in Europe on the Dreamcast. I think it was Japan and Europe. The Dreamcast did stick around a little bit into 2002. It was dead, all but dead, in 2001 in the US. So Shenmue 2 did get a release in Europe. Here we are. Ooh, slide them out. We got the little case thing for it, which does add to its value. Again, not in the best. Well, this one's in better condition. It's not the best. You've got a little crack there on the box. But this one is, there you go, we've got disc 1 there. I think this was another 4-disc game. Disc 1, these is a slightly better condition. Disc 1, disc 2, which is upside down. Shenmue 2, of course, the follow-up to Shenmue. Awesome game. You could play. I love just hanging around in the sort of marketplace in Hong Kong and just playing arcade machines. That's all I did in Shenmue. I don't think I ever finished it. I just got too distracted. This is disc number 3. There you go. The disc conditions are okay, actually. That's kind of broken there, so I'm not going to take that out. The inlets are kind of broken, and then, of course, you've got disc 4, the complete edition. It was released in the US, Shenmue 2, on the original Xbox, I believe. Yeah, I think it did. It came out in Europe as well on the original Xbox, but you can't have a Dreamcast without Shenmue. I mean, you got both Shenmues. Amazing game. Shenmue 3 found a publisher at least, at last. It's going to be published by Deep Silver, interestingly enough. Hopefully they bring out the other Shenmues, the other 2. It says 2001. Presented by AM2. AM2 was Sega's in-house developers. Made all their fighting games. AM2, they famously made a lot of games like Virtua Fighter on the Sega Saturn and things like that. But yeah, Shenmue is an incredible game. Incredibly hard to find these days. Incredibly valuable these days. But anyway, that is all for this video. So thank you for joining me. And we'll see you again soon. And goodbye.